Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about Democrats and are they going to drop their gun control agenda? Okay, so Donald Trump did something that was really smart during the 2024 election. He basically committed himself to not signing any anti-abortion bills at the federal level. He said Supreme Court made the right decision, sent it back to the states, let the states figure it out. Okay, so really smart decision that he made. And what that did is it took away from the Democrats that talking point. Okay, I mean just took it out from underneath them. Um, and in purple states, right, in the swing states, these two things are important issues, right? The abortion issue and the gun rights. Okay, so Republicans have already taken that position where, you know what, we're going to keep that off the table, especially out of national elections. So the Republicans have already made that decision. I think that kind of puts the Democrats in a position where they have to do the same in order to compete. Okay. Now the question becomes, what is the one thing that might prevent Democrats from making that wise decision of dropping this whole gun control agenda? Okay, the one thing that would keep them on that gun control agenda is the Michael Bloomberg money. Okay, um, so first of all, we all know from this 2024 election, Democrats are all about the money. Okay, um, they're more interested in the fundraising and keeping the money coming in. Within the Democrat Party, the way somebody else put it is they're more interested in maintaining their position in the totem pole. Okay, as far as their influence, their power, their money position. Um, they're more interested in maintaining that position, uh, even more than actually winning elections. Okay, and that's part of the reason why they lost so bad in the 2024 election. So Republicans already made that decision. Okay, a lot of Republicans, but especially Donald Trump, right? He made the decision that he was gonna just stay away from this whole abortion issue. Let somebody else figure that out at the state level. Um, so you would think that Democrats would make the same decision. Say, hey, we need those swing states. We need those, people in states like Pennsylvania. Dude, we got guns. We're not just shooting pistols, okay? We want ARs. We want short barrel rifles. We want suppressors. We want full autos. We want it all, okay? So for the last 15 years as a gun instructor, I primarily work with brand new shooters, right? People buying guns for the first time. So my goal, the reason why I became an instructor, is to take non-shooters or non-gun owners and turn them into gun owners that now have a vested interest in protecting gun rights. Okay, and once I get them hooked on gun ownership and shooting, it is a very easy argument for me to make over, and I don't do this on the first time I meet them, over a couple of sessions. It is very easy for me to win them over to the mindset that, hey, your gun rights protect all your other rights. Okay, so whatever else is important to you, that's protected by your gun rights. Okay, so that's a really easy argument for me to make. And it's very easy for me, right? And I've been doing it for 15 years. It's very easy for me to take people that are otherwise independents, otherwise, really don't even think about elections until it's actually election time. It's really easy for me to turn them into single issue voters, okay, that vote for their gun rights first, because once people get into guns, people love guns, okay, and a lot of people, a lot of Democrats make the mistake of thinking that the reason why we love guns so much is because we've got this, because of that self-defense issue, right? That we're like afraid that somebody's gonna break into our house and kill us, right? You know what? guns are really good for self-defense, but the way I explain it to people is like people normally don't get into guns primarily because they're interested in defending themselves. It might be one issue, but usually people get more into guns because they're fun. They want to have fun shooting guns, or even if they get into it initially, like in 2020, I had lots of people that were coming to me because they were concerned about the whole self-defense issue. And the thing I made them realize that, hey, first learn to enjoy shooting guns, have fun shooting guns, okay? And the same way everybody learns to drive a car, not so that they can go to work or go to the hospital when they have an emergency. People learn to drive cars when they're young so that they can go out and play with their friends, okay? That's why people learn to drive cars, okay? So the same thing goes with guns, okay? I teach people to learn to shoot guns, to enjoy. I teach them first to enjoy shooting guns, and then once they get good at it, right? Then we can talk about, okay, great, you got this gun here. What else can you do with it besides having fun with it? Well, in an emergency type of situation, it is a good self-defense tool, okay? So we can talk about stuff like that, and then we can even go a little bit further and say, hey, if we ever had a dictatorship or a tyranny or an invasion, it also is good for that purpose as well, for protecting yourself in that scenario. But the first thing that I address with people is learn to have fun with guns, okay? Enjoy shooting them, just like people learn to drive cars to have fun. And then afterwards, they're like, hey, the car would also be useful for getting me to work. If I have an emergency and I got to get to the hospital, that's also useful for that. So I teach people the same mindset, okay? So once I teach people guns and I get people into guns, they very quickly become single issue voters, okay? So that's been my, and this is not just me, this is most instructors, okay? Whether they do it intentionally like I do it, or whether it's just a natural byproduct, gun instructors tend to turn people, especially beginners, new shooters, into single issue voters. So Democrats are going to have a real hard time winning elections, okay, if they don't drop this gun control agenda, okay. I mean that's just how it is. I mean, Republicans have already made that move, okay. They've already made that move, and I did a separate video on this, and talking, like, I don't even like talking about abortions. Like, to me, my position is, yes, it's murder, okay, but it's not worth losing elections trying to save the children of Democrats, okay? If they want to kill their kids, they're going to kill their kids. You can't stop them. It's just not worth losing elections. And the other thing that I have seen, again, because I deal with the public, I talk to people in a swing state here in Pennsylvania. I also get people from New Jersey, New York. Okay. The other thing is that when you're talking with people in the middle, the moderates, and men, women, right? There's also here's the thing. Women are afraid of two things, and this includes like moderate, otherwise conservative women. They're afraid of, if they get raped, they don't want to have to carry the child of the person that raped them. Okay, that's a big thing with women. Okay, and number two, they're also worried about the possibility of a dangerous pregnancy, where that might be like dangerous to the life, or might be painful, or extremely painful, and they have to suffer through it. So these are two concerns of not just like these leftist loony women in the cities, right? But these are also concerns of moderate women in the center, Republican women. Okay, so I mean, I talk to women. That's how I know these things. Okay, so these are concerns that they have. Now, it doesn't mean that they are committing to having, to killing a child, but they, the mindset of most women, right, even moderates, especially in the swing states, is that, hey, you know what, I'd rather keep that option open just in case, okay, just like I carry a gun just in case, right? I live in a very safe area. I don't expect to ever need to use a firearm to defend myself, but I carry one just in case. Okay, so that's the mindset of women. Okay, and there's many women that do make that priority, right? Even though they have no intention of getting themselves pregnant and killing a child. That is something that's in the mindset, in the back of somewhere in the back of the mind. Now, even with men, okay, again, I've talked to many men in swing states, men that I generally consider in the middle, moderates. And here's the thing with men. One of the concerns, one of the concerns is, hey, what if their wife gets pregnant and the child that they're carrying is diagnosed with some type of a terrible disease that would leave it either terribly disfigured or just, mentally incapacitated, so that, they would never be able to do the type of stuff that men want to do with their children, right? They could never bring them to a gun range and have them shoot, because they would just be retarded, just to just call it what it is, like they are like just diagnosed. They've been diagnosed with, this is the situation, this is it. They have this disease, and they're never going to grow up and be normal. And this is a realistic concern that lots of men in the middle have, because a lot of men are like, hey, you know what? Do I want to invest 20 years of my life trying to raise a child that has no chance of ever really becoming a fully functional adult? Because number one, now it takes away from attention that they would be giving to their other children. It reduces the possibility of even having other children, to the extent that if you've got this one child that's just mentally incapacitated, that they require so much attention. Now they're like, okay, can they have another child? Or because me, it's like I had my first son. I liked it so much. I immediately, within 11 months, I had another one. I liked that one so much. I got busy making a third one. So I got 3 kids. So if you have a child that is born with with that type of a condition, that's going to stop you from doing these things, from wanting to have more kids and being able to spend time with your kids and looking forward to doing stuff with your kids as they get older. And that's just a realistic thing that men also consider, that I don't think is considered often enough. Now the other thing is, like, for example, I had my first son when I was 43. So now, so here's the thing. One of the things given that I had my 3 kids later in life, I'm considering that, hey, by the time my children are, let's say, in their 20s, I'm already going to be well into my, I'm going to be in my 60s. And my job, right, it's a rush for me to bring my children to adulthood so that they are self-sustaining, right? They can take care of themselves before I die, right? Before I get old and I'm not able to do those things. Here's the thing. One of the things that many men in that type of situation don't want. It's like, okay, if I have a child that is just mentally defective, right? What happens when I get old and I'm dying, and this child, even though it's in their 20s, now in their 30s, they can't sustain themselves. Is this not going to be a burden for their siblings? Who's going to take care of this child? This adult at that point in life. So again, and I'm not saying this is. I'm not even saying that this is my opinion, right? I'm not trying to tell you guys this is what I would do, or this is what I want to do. What I'm trying to make you guys aware of is that these are realistic concerns that people in the middle, moderates in swing states have. We had Doug Mastriano that was running for governor, who I think would have been an excellent governor for Pennsylvania. This was back during the midterms. He ran for governor. He would have been an excellent governor, 100% pro-gun rights. Great on finance and all that stuff. But he was a hardcore, no abortions under any circumstances, even if it's rape, even if it's to save the life of the mother. This guy was like hardcore. And the Democrats, they just ran ad after ad after ad. And I asked a couple of women, right, about that, and that's the first thing that came up. And again, these were moderate women that have kids, that love their children, would never want to have an abortion, right? But this idea of, hey, what if I'm raped and I don't want to have the child of a rapist? That sticks with women. So Republicans, smart, drop that issue, get it out of the national election, send that back to the states, let the states figure it out. And this kind of forces Democrats to do the same thing. It forces them to drop the whole gun control agenda, right? Because they gotta make up those votes somehow. Which is good, because what I want is I want Republicans and Democrats competing with each other to see who will fight to give us, to restore for us are gun rights. Okay, I want to get those two teams competing with each other in favor of restoring gun rights. Okay, so that's the situation I'm trying to get here, and I think that this would happen like instantly, like right now, immediately. I think it would have happened already. The one thing that's stopping it is the Michael Bloomberg money, right? Because this guy's got billions, and he's he doesn't know what to do with it, and he's throwing a lot of money behind the gun control agenda. So the issue that I think that Democrats are trying to weigh out here is like, do we give up that money that we love so much in order to actually win elections? So I think greed. We'll see which way they go. Right? Are they going to go on the towards money greed, or are they going to go towards trying to actually win elections? Now, I think this is only going to be an issue while he is still alive, because I'm pretty sure he's up well into his 70s, maybe even approaching 80 at this point. This is probably going to be an issue while he's still alive, right? Because he's alive and he's able to see how this money in these trust funds that he has set up for gun control is being spent, okay? Once this guy goes, right, once he dies, and now these trust funds are self-sustained, like they're basically, the managers are running these things by themselves. Their main issue is how are they going to get as much money out of these funds, right, that he has set up for gun control for themselves, to keep for themselves. Okay, so the last thing they're going to want to do is actually waste money pushing gun control agendas when they can be pocketing it. Okay, so once Michael Bloomberg dies, right, the gun control agenda is going to I don't know if it'll go away completely, but it's not going to have the potency that it has right now, because he's alive, he's funding it, Bloomberg's funding it, and he's got to see some effort in order for him to keep funding it. Once he goes, and it's now the trust funds that he's set up are running it themselves, their main motive is not going to be so much to get gun control laws passed, but it's going to be how they're going to get as much money out of that fund as possible, out of the fund and into their pockets. Okay, so my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments, and we'll see what happens. Okay, talk to y'all soon.